When it comes to software testing, we hear a lot about automation, right? Scripts doing all the heavy lifting. But what about the bugs that scripts just can't find? Well, today we're diving into the special testing types that rely on something way more powerful: human intuition. Let's get right to it.
And this right here, this really gets to the core of it. Look, automated scripts are incredible. They're fast, they're reliable, they never get tired. But they're also super literal. They can't tell you if an app just feels clunky, or if a process is confusing, or if the design is just a total mess for a real person. For that, you absolutely need that human touch.
Right, so what are we even talking about here? What kind of problems can only a person catch? What happens when someone doesn't follow the perfect straight-line path the developers imagined? Well, those are the issues that drive users crazy, and that's exactly where these special testing methods come in to save the day.
So yeah, automation is totally essential, don't get me wrong. But for this explainer, we're going to focus on the tests where human creativity is the real star of the show. We're stepping off the beaten path of predictable scripts and into the wild world of human curiosity and real-world experience.
We're going to zoom in on 4 key methods that really lean on that human touch: usability, compatibility, exploratory, and ad hoc testing. I like to think of them as a team of specialized detectives, each one with their own unique way of finding clues that a machine would just scroll right past. First up, we've got usability testing. This is really all about empathy, right? It's about putting yourself directly in the user's shoes. It asks a really simple but crucial question: does this software feel good to use? It's not about if the code works, it's about whether the experience is intuitive and maybe even enjoyable, or if it's just one big, frustrating puzzle.
And that means testers are looking at things like navigation flow. Like, can a brand new user just figure it out without a manual? Is the design clean and clear, or is it a cluttered mess that gives you a headache? It all boils down to that sense of user-friendliness that, a script just can't measure.
Think about it like this. You're trying to buy something on a new app, but the Pay Now button is weirdly hidden at the bottom of the page, or the steps to enter your shipping address are totally backwards. An automated script might check that each button technically clicks, but a human tester will immediately say, whoa, this whole thing is a disaster for an actual user. Okay, next we have compatibility testing. I mean, just think about the sheer chaos of it all. Your users are on so many different devices, browsers, operating systems. It's a lot. This type of testing makes sure that your app works just as well on a brand new iPhone as it does on a 3-year-old Android tablet, or in Chrome versus Safari. And wow, this matrix, it just lays out the massive scale of the challenge. A tester has to go through every key feature across all these different environments. You can see it right here. The login might just completely fail on Safari and iOS, while the checkout process breaks on Firefox. Finding all of these very specific failures is a huge, painstaking manual effort. Okay, now we're getting into the really fun stuff with exploratory testing. If other tests are like following a recipe, this is like being a master chef just inventing a new dish on the fly. There is no script. The tester just uses their own experience, their own curiosity, and their gut feeling to just explore.
What's so cool about this is that everything is happening at once. The tester is learning about the app, designing new test ideas in their head, and actually running them all at the same time. It's like a live investigation, and it is perfect for finding those super weird bugs that only show up when a user does something totally unexpected.
For example, in a banking app, what happens if you start a money transfer? Then you hit the back button. Go check your account balance, and then hit the forward button again. A script would never think to do that, but a curious person just might. And by doing that, they could uncover a critical bug that no one ever would have thought to look for. And finally, we have the wildest one of the bunch: ad hoc testing. This is pure, beautiful chaos. It's totally impromptu, often with zero planning, zero documentation. It's sometimes called guerrilla testing because the goal is just so simple: attack the system with creativity and see what breaks.
This is where a tester's gut feeling is just everything. They're trying stuff that might make a developer just scratch their head and ask, why on earth would anyone do that? And the answer is simple: because sooner or later, a real user will. This method is amazing for finding those bizarre edge case bugs that formal testing just always seems to miss.
So think about this, right? A username field is probably designed to handle, 20 or 30 letters and numbers? But what happens when a tester, just on a whim, decides to paste in the entire first chapter of Moby Dick, complete with emojis and symbols?
Does the app handle it gracefully, or does the whole system just crash and burn? That is a classic ad hoc discovery.
Okay, so to really get why these creative tests are so important, it helps to see what they're built on top of. Let's do a super quick recap of the daily workhorses of the quality assurance world.
First up, you've got smoke testing. That's just a quick check to see if a new version of the software is stable enough to even bother testing. Then you've got sanity testing, which is a focused check on a new feature or a bug fix to make sure it works as expected. And of course, regression testing, which is the absolutely crucial process of making sure your shiny new code didn't accidentally break something old. These formal tests are the backbone of QA, for sure, but the special tests we just talked about, they provide the soul.
So, after all that, what's the big takeaway here? It's pretty simple, actually. While automation is amazing at handling the predictable stuff, it's the human factor that's needed to handle the unpredictable, the messy, the real world.
And that right there is the bottom line. These special testing types take quality assurance from being just a checklist to being a real craft. By tapping into human curiosity, empathy, and creativity, they find the bugs that scripts can't even dream of, making sure the final product isn't just functional, but genuinely great to use.
So I want to leave you with a question to chew on. Doesn't matter if you're a tester, a developer, or just someone who uses apps every day. What's the most human bug you've ever stumbled upon? I'm willing to bet it was the kind of problem that no script could have ever predicted, but a curious person found, probably by accident. Thanks so much for tuning in.